What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Stock Report. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button because at 100 subscribers, we're giving away this 1996 American Silver Eagle. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that one. Anyway, let's get back into today's volatile silver market. Ooh-wee. Were we volatile today? Sorry for that. Man, it was a rough day, but taking the positive out of this. If you've been watching these videos, you saw that yesterday, we were kind of right here, hovering around this $88 mark. I did say, hey, this is going to be very key because if we break down, where we wanted to do was end up over here, but, we didn't do that, obviously. But we did bounce off of this 78, which was a key line for us to get over the hump right here. Today's Wednesday, guys. You got to use hump day. Oh, wait, no, today's not Wednesday. Today's Tuesday. Oh, my goodness. Son of a gun. It's my fault. Jumped the gun on that one. Got a little too excited here. But this is where we were getting rejected around that $77 mark. And today, falling all the way down back to there, erasing so many gains. Guys, silver was looking so good going into Friday. But the market can remain irrelevant more than you can remain solvent, so make sure you stay safe. This is why I told you guys yesterday that I do not necessarily recommend investing in silver at the moment, buying those precious ounces, because if you were to buy yesterday or today, you're probably down your money. And this is what's crazy. It's like it can be $90 on Monday, March at 9 p.m. and then by Tuesday, less than 24 hours later, actually, 19 hours later, we're sitting $10 lower. So, plus you have to add in premium. So if you bought yesterday at 91, you're paying at least $95 to $100, depending on what type of silver you bought. And it's already $81. That's already a 20% loss. It's astronomical, kind of some of the things that are going on in this market. It's hard to predict, and you can't predict it, so don't try to predict it. Right, but you can tune into the Daily Stock Report because we bring you real up-to-date information, no hype, no fluff. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Let's keep it going. So where do I see us kind of going from here? We're obviously going to be testing this $82 mark. We tested it once, got rejected on that hour, on the second 4-hour candle. Remember, guys, these are the big boy candles. These are 4-hour candles. These aren't 5 minutes. I don't track, macro moves like that. Or micro moves like that, sorry. I like to track the 4 hours. I think that's where you get the best actual visibility of what's happening. And you're able to see things truly play out versus going off the 5 minute. Now, if I'm day trading, I may use the 5 minute or the 1 minute candles, but to get a long-term trend line, to get those long-term, like where do I see this going in 3 days, 2 weeks, a month, this really does help a lot more. The 4-hour candles do. But right now it looks like we're going to keep testing this 78. We might be hovering in between 78 to 82 kind of for the next day or two. We could be heading, if we do stay within this range, it looks like Monday is going to be the next time we're going to see a potential breakout to the upside or downside. Could I be wrong? Yes. Could we kind of bounce up above this? That would be nice. If we come back over here to February 26th, or I'm sorry, February 12th through February 20th, which was an 8-day span. It took us 8 days to break above this, and we finally did. And when we did, we had a huge gain up. So theoretically, take this as level 1. All right, this is level 1 right here. Level 2, 3, 4, 5. And that would be our pathway up to 100. So we broke out of level 1 and we shot all the way up to level 5, right? That may have been a little too much. Markets reconciliate, they kind of got to get into that motion again. Remember, these high jumps, these quick jumps aren't necessarily always the best things in the world. And so let's say, we broke out of level 1. Hey, we went all the way up to level 5. Now what happens if we come down to level 2? And we repeat this same thing here in level 2. All right, we're going to call this level 2 right here. And then we break up to level 5 again. Right, and then we come back down to level 3 and we do the same thing. right? Then we break out and then back to level 4, right? That's kind of how, this might be playing out. This may be, towards the end of March. Let's see, March 30th. I need to extend these lines out here just a little bit. Right there. Boom. And boom. That puts us at the end of March right here. Right, so we may be seeing this play out throughout the month of March. Right, every 8 days we shoot up and then we come down another level. We shoot up again, then we come down another level, and then we shoot up and then we start to bounce off of this 92. Whenever we can get some firm resistance off this 92, I think that's when we're actually going to see 100. Up until then, I think we're going to be seeing this teeter-totter, kind of going up, a little bit, coming down a little less, going up a little bit more, coming down a little bit less. That's just kind of my honest opinion of how I see March going. I know there's a lot of hype about, futures contracts ending, people wanting delivery, the COMEX, running out of silver, the LBMA running out of silver. Oh, but Shanghai is at this price. Guys, kind of take that with a grain of salt, because the market is what the market is. I don't know how to necessarily say this in a kid-friendly type of way, but just because there's a shortage of silver, just because something else is doing something, like for instance, we had, I'm going to say it, someone called me out yesterday for not saying it, just because we have these war tensions with Iran, bombs dropping over there, we got the cartel going crazy in Mexico. Funny how we haven't heard anything about that. Since this weekend, it's been all about Iran, it hasn't been about anything. I haven't heard any news about Mexico, when just last week it seemed like Mexico was about to be taken over by the cartels. So, guys, just because we see some things like that and you hear stuff on the news, that doesn't automatically mean that price is just going to rocket up. Like, that's just not how markets work. It's just not. You're going to have these slow climb ups. You're going to have faster ones. But then whenever you come back down, the goal is, as we're seeing right here, to come back down just a little bit less, right? Because for the longest time, let me see, this right here, we got rejected once, rejected twice, 3 times, right? And so we shot all the way down. And then we came back up. But this little portion right here, so from January 30th till till February 19th, this is 20 days of just total rejection on every single line until we finally broke out and we hit this high. This right here, even though, yes, right now we're sitting at $81, this right here over at 96, this should be the only bullish signal you need. Because if this was a bearish looking chart, then we would have got rejected at that $92 level. We would not have even broken above this for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 4-hour candles. That's 20 hours. 20 hours. Technically almost 24 hours, because we were above it for a little bit here on this candle right here. So for about 20 to 24 hours, we were above the highest high we had after this initial drop down from that 120, what was it, 122? Where were we at? Yeah, 121.70 range. From that initial drop down right here, this was the highest we've had. And it took us nearly, March 2nd compared to January 30th. It took us a whole month to get back over here. So guys, it could take us a whole another month to get us all the way back up to here, right? To get to this line right here. It could take us a whole another month. And so don't get shaky. Don't start shaking in your boots, all right? Just because. Take this as I personally see this. Not a financial advisor, but question, when do I see my next buying window? Okay, first off, always cost average when you're buying. If you were to have bought some over here in this range, you bought some more over here, you thought it was going up, so you bought some more here and went back down, you bought some more here and went down further, you bought some more here and went up a little bit and bought some more here, bought some here, bought some here, you would be averaging out your cost average. And so that's how these big players do it. That's how successful traders and successful investors do it. They don't just put all of their money down when it's at a high or all of their money when it's at a low, because it could go lower and it could go higher, right? That's just simple mathematics, chartnomics, if you want to call it. That's just how it plays out. And so make sure you're cost averaging. But is right now an ample opportunity to buy? I think so, just because if you're cost averaging, yes, theoretically, this is a time you would buy a little bit. I'm not saying unload the bank right now because it's about to shoot up. It's not what I'm saying. But if you're cost averaging, obviously this is a good time to buy, because just a couple of days ago, it was at 96, right? So from a cost average standpoint, this is a good opportunity, not a financial advisor. But what I am really watching for my next quote unquote bigger purchase, because you have your small purchases, bigger purchases, they vary. But for my next bigger purchase, I am looking more towards this March 16th. I'm going to see how some of this plays out. If we cannot hold above this, if we kind of hover in this, for the next week or so, I'll probably buy a little bit more. There's a coin show over here in Houston. I think it's the 13th. Let's see. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's, the 13th, 14th. I think it's the 13th and 14th. So it's going to be right around here. If we're able to withstand and kind of hang out here, form a little pattern, maybe a double bottom. If we could form a double bottom here, come up, form another double bottom right there, I think that would be a nice sign that we could be going back into zone 3. So I may buy a little bit more, but if we break below this, I'm not buying again until we test 71. Because to buy up here at 77, whenever we kind of break down, if we go below this and we don't come back up and then come below again and then come back up, right? Because if we go below, I know this might sound confusing, but if we go below, back into zone 1, and then we shoot back up, that's a rejection on this line. But then what's going to happen is we're probably going to go below it again to double test it, right? And if we don't come back up that time, we get rejected at the top of zone 1, it definitely means we're probably going to be coming back down to 71. So when I'm looking at my buying opportunities, am I taking this as literal times to buy? No, but this is a great sign, and these are great signs to buy and when to buy. I'm not necessarily buying right here in the middle because it's probably going to come back down. Same thing here. We're at the top of this zone. Or near the top. We're at the top, 4/5 of the zone, right? And so right here may not be a time to unload the bank, because if I had to take a guess, we already got rejected once, we got rejected twice, we got rejected a third time. So if I had to take any type of guess, I would sit here and say we're probably going to be hovering in this zone for a couple days, or for at least the next day. We're going to be testing the 78 again. Again, it's probably going to be 1, 2, 3. Maybe by tomorrow, it's probably going to be another 20 hours, but it's going to be maybe a little bit down, come up a little bit, maybe a green candle, but probably a couple red ones right here. I think overall the market's just kind of pre-priced, some of the global uncertainty with the Mexico, the Iran. I think some of those things did help drive these factors up. And now that it's actually happened, I think we're kind of coming back down a little bit because people are selling off to gain their profits that they made. Because to go from 71 to 96, guys, that's a $25 profit. $25 profit when you started with 70. That's over 30%? I could be wrong a little bit, but that's over 30% profit. That's more than 3 years of the S&P 500 combined. S&P is only averaging 8% per year. So, these are big swings. These are big swings that we're seeing. So make sure you stay smart. Don't right now, honestly, this isn't financial advice, but I think 90% might be the move. I think 90% might be the move at this exact moment, just because you can already get it under spots. And again, I'm talking to the people who are holding for the long term. Not the short-term holders. This isn't for you. But for the long-term holders, I think 90% could be a good move right now. Because people are already selling it back of spot. So you could probably get some 90% for around $79, $75 per ounce. Which face value is, 0.715. So, just kind of doing the math right now. If you can get it for 77 an ounce, you multiply that by 0.715. It's about $55 per face value. I think that might not necessarily be the worst thing in the world right now. Yeah, that might be what I'm checking out, some 90%. Because again, you do want to cost average, and when we talk about cost averaging, whenever we're in these zones, if you're looking for something to stack, 90% could definitely be it at the moment. It's a good buy. It's still a good, buy. You're still getting a good price on it, but you're not paying a premium over spot. And so if you do need to offload it in some wild case, you typically can offload 90%. I mean, you're going to have to go on eBay, you're going to have to go on like OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. You're going to have to hit up a couple of those. If you know people who buy silver, may have to sell it to them. You may have to go through those type of channels to get a better sell price. But for the long term, I'm still a proponent that 90%'s value is coming back. I'm definitely thinking. Or this may just be a time where you take a step back from the market. Hear me out. Take a step back from the market. And you say, I'm going to watch how this week plays out before I buy. But something else that's pretty undervalued at the moment, I mean, don't hold me to it, but kind of hold me to it. I think copper could be making a move. I personally stack copper. I don't stack like the $5 per ounce copper. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about copper pennies. I think copper pennies could be a solid move right now. I mean, you go to the bank, and most banks are only allowing $5 to $10 at a time. But you go to the bank, you pull out some copper pennies, and you stack some of those. 1 pound or $1.47, $1.43. I want to say it might be $1.43, but $1.43 of 1982 and before. So they stopped it in 1982. So it's just like silver. 64 is the last year of silver coins. 82 is the last year of copper pennies. So anything 82 and before is copper. 95% technically, but just kind of stack a couple of those. Put them in a tin. A coffee tin. I have a little, you don't have to necessarily put them in your safe because they do take up some space. But go get yourself a little coffee pot. Go to Goodwill. Get yourself like $1, $2 little pot. Something that has a seal on it. And start collecting some copper pennies. Because, I mean, they're going to make a comeback. Once they're gone, I mean, they already are gone. But, I mean, they're not even making pennies anymore. So sooner than later, you're going to be allowed to melt them. I mean, businesses aren't even taking pennies anymore. There's so many businesses that'll tell you they're rounding up to the nearest. Drop a like, drop a comment if you've seen a business that says we're not accepting pennies, we're rounding to the nearest nickel. I can already name off like 5 right now off the top of my head. And then on top of that, I could probably name off 5 more that are cashless. You can only pay with card or tap to pay. That's it. So they're going out of style. They're going to be gone soon. But I would definitely take a look at copper pennies. As a matter of fact, let's go over here to APMEX. Right now they have it for 97.77 SD. SD so far had the best. Let me see here. I just had it right there. Copper. This isn't what I want. Look, that's just way too much, guys. You do what you want to do. It's your life. It's your money. But I just don't see how this is a good value. I just don't. I don't see how paying $5 for an ounce of copper when copper is like $5 a pound. And for reference, in the copper world, it's not troy ounces. It's just regular ounces. So 16 ounces is a pound of copper. 16 ounces. So you are literally paying for 1 ounce of copper $5. If copper is, I know I'm wrong on this price, but we're just using theoretical price. So if copper is $5 and you divide that by 16, copper is about 31, let's round up to 32 cents an ounce. And you are paying $5. I don't understand this math. I don't understand how people are investing in copper rounds that are $5 an ounce. If you are, and you're like Daily Stacker, you're wrong. Tell me why. I want you to drop a comment. Let me know where I'm tripping. Let me know what I'm not seeing, right? Because I'm looking more at, dang, look at that, 17.95. That's crazy. What's their wheat pennies? Let's see. Do they have regular pennies? I think these are all wheats. Yeah, these are all wheat pennies. So, okay, even a wheat penny. They don't even have a price on them. Boo. Okay, these are going to be more, when you go more specific, they typically are a little bit more. But if we're just doing 1909 and 1958, man, they don't even have them. See, they don't even have them. They don't even have them. They don't even have the copper pennies. But yet they have all of these $5. If anything, what's 10 pounds? That's 160 ounces. So 349.99 divided by 160 ounces. You're paying about $2.18 an ounce. That's still astronomical to me. That's still way too high. Let's go over to JM. Let's see if JM has some. We're just going on a little side quest right here. Side quest of the day. Here we go. Pennies. Bada bing, bada boom. Graded. Out of stock. They even have pricing? No. But look, they're out of stock on. So if you're like, this is what I'm saying. Go to your bank and, maybe a couple times a week. Go to put it on your GPS. Go to like 2 or 3 banks. That's 15. You can probably get $20. Doesn't take that long. I'm sure AppMex will have them. But go to your bank and get just $5 worth. See how many they'll give you. I've learned if you go towards the end of the day, they're a little bit more lenient. Or if you, especially at the end of the week. If you go like on a Friday afternoon, 30 minutes before they close, they'll probably give you however many you want. One lady gave me $20 worth because I think, I could be wrong, but I think they have to count them at the very end of the day or at the end of the week. And so the less that they have, the less they have to count. So they're a lot more nicer towards the end of the week, end of the day. So I have definitely learned this. Yeah, they're all out of everything. That's crazy. So yeah, you can't even find it. No, they have them here. Hold on. Let's see. Pre-1982. Let's see what comes up. Yep, they don't even have it. It's kind of crazy, to be honest. What if we go to rare coins? Oh, we know all that. We know all that. Yeah. No pennies. Huh. Where was it? Hold on. I saw this is gonna actually bother me now. Money metals, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was money metals. I definitely think it was. I know I'm going off topic here. Here we go. Copper pennies. I think they had some. There we go. Got them. So Money Metals is the only place right now that has copper pennies. But look how much these are going for. One, you can only buy it by the pounds. This is a 1909. Okay, I think this is just one. Yeah, this is just a VDB. not the S. The SVDB is what's valuable. Well, they're all valuable, right, to the eye of the collector, but the SVDB is the most valuable one. Those are just Indian heads. This is what I'm talking about. So right now, obviously not free shipping, but, and I want to say shipping and everything, I did it the other day. This price comes out to like $389.99. I want to say is what it comes out to, $379. But for 34 pounds, that's the minimum. You're paying, let's see, I think, what was it, $9.99, $339. It was $379 because there's tax, shipping, not tax, there's shipping, and then they have a card processing fee. So we'll take away the card processing fee. We'll just do $359 because there definitely was shipping. Divided by 34 pounds, that's $10.58 per pound. Now, if you're asking me how many pennies are in a pound, thank you for asking. There's $1.43. So we're going to divide that by 1.43. So divided by, divided by 1.43. It's about $7 and, I'm sorry, that's about, I did that wrong. No, because that's per pound. No, that was. Okay, my fault. Yeah, so that's about $10.58 per pound, which is $1.43. So $10.58 is about the going rate minus $1.43, because that's how much is actual face in there. It's about $9.15 profit right there. I know that didn't really make sense. I know that was kind of everywhere. But right now, for just a pound of copper pennies, which is $1.43, it's worth $9.15 more than face. That's better than any deal. And you just go to the bank and you request them. When you're bored, honestly, once you gotta, get a little rhythm going, right? Get yourself a little setup, get yourself some cups, just some random cups or a coffee tin, and then ask them for a bank bag. Ask them for like one of the clear bank bags, so that way you have something to, put the ones that aren't 82 in there. But get yourself a little bank bag, get yourself a little coffee tin, 82 and before, toss them in the coffee tin. Anything else, toss in the bag. All right, put it to the side, put it under the bed, however you need to do it, and take 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. It really does not take that long to go through it. But that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment, besides because I'm not investing heavily right now. I invested a good amount right here in this area. And I'm not just saying, I bought a bunch right here at the bottom and at the bottom. No, I bought more up here than I did down here and down. Well, down here, like these zones combined, I did buy a little bit more, but I made a solid purchase right here because I thought that we were coming back up, and your boy was wrong. Okay, I'm wrong sometimes. So I did buy some more up here, but I did also buy a lot down here. But at the moment, I have a good little stack. I like my stack. I'm happy with it. So I like doing these videos. I like updating, and I like keeping in tune with it. Am I buying more now? Yes. What do I mean by buying more? I mean like 3 to 5 ounces per purchase right now. I mean, I'm not doing anything like 10, 20, 100 ounces. I kind of got my behind ripped whenever I bought. I bought them here at 90. And it shot down. Oh man, I was not happy. If you guys go watch those videos, my tone was not happy. But anyway, coming back to the meat and bones, I hope everyone has a great day. Make sure you stay safe, stack smart, and as always, I'll see you tomorrow.